For the past year, we've all been hearing the phrase, "we're all in this together." And as 2021 progresses, we've figured out ways to deal with the coronavirus and ways that we can use that kind of unity to potentially end the pandemic, especially with the advent of new vaccines that are showing a lot of promise early on. But getting those vaccines into arms has proven a big challenge in itself. But I recently traveled to the local community of Anderson Island, a small community of about 1,500 people who all banded together to figure out a unique way to get everybody vaccinated.
We have every kind of people on this island. We have Trump supporters, we have Hillary supporters, we have people that like sports and don't like sports, Husky fans and Wazoo fans. But when it comes to helping each other, all that gets aside, we come together as a community and we get it done.
Anderson Island is right off the Steilacoom waterfront and a 20-minute ferry ride away from the mainland. This community, made up mostly of retirees, is one that can be considered to be underserved, since it is a small island with not as many services that are available elsewhere in Western Washington.
It's my mission to come out here among my neighbors and save the world.
Michelle, or Mickey Hayes as she's known to this community, is a nurse practitioner who's part of the coordinating effort to get her friends and neighbors vaccinated.
This is an honor for me. This island has so many elderly people, where our population is heavily weighted towards the elderly. And during this whole pandemic, these people have been at really high risk of dying.
Jimmy Ng is an 8-year resident of Anderson Island. He says this community carefully crafted this effort.
We met, we talked, and we came up with a plan. About 2 months later, we got some vaccine put on our first clinic, and it's been a great operation, and it really highlights the volunteerism of this island.
So far, over 600 doses of the Moderna vaccine have been put into the arms of Anderson Island residents, with more community vaccination events planned in the coming months, courtesy of the help of the volunteers, including Anderson Island's firefighters.
It makes me feel good to, help the community and put smiles on people's faces and shots in their arms.
Jim Bixler is Anderson Island's fire chief.
This has been very rewarding for us. I mean, all my volunteers and my paid staff here are all into it 100%, and they feel good about helping the community.
And like many vaccination efforts, this one didn't come without its challenges, especially when it comes to transporting the vaccine from the mainland to the island.
What I needed, though, in order to make it work is a way to get the vaccine safely from the clinic to the island and back again without breaking cold chain and making sure the vaccine remained viable. So I talked to some of my friends and some of the committee people that we pulled together, and they found the funding to buy a portable freezer refrigerator that we could use. And once that was in place, we could take our clinic on the road and go anywhere and do this.
Volunteers say the reward isn't only helping out during a time of crisis. It's also being a part of an endeavor to help friends while knowing firsthand what they're up against.
This community is just wonderful. It's like friends and neighbors all taking care of each other through this pandemic. And my family had COVID during Christmas, and it wasn't terrible for us, but so many of the folks here are seniors, and maybe some are compromised, and having COVID would be very serious for them.
And while we may be several months away from herd immunity, it's important to point out that the Anderson Island community isn't only fighting the pandemic with vaccines. As it turns out, their resilience and friendship are proving to be a valuable weapon that can stop COVID-19.
Giving the vaccine to my friends and neighbors and people I don't even know on the island is kind of like having a party where everybody's really happy to be here. We're all helping each other so that we can move to the next level.